here the two teams come, making their way to the stage. Brazil leading the line in their famous yellow jerseys. And the lads from Finland just behind them, perhaps upsetting the odds, the fact that they're even still in this tournament. I'm sure they'll think that's an unfair thing to say, but the numbers were against them in terms of population size, but they're still here and they might not be finished yet. Before we do the coin toss with head referee James, I'm going to speak to our players quickly. Guys, you're ranked #1 in the world for a reason. You're the reigning FIFAe Nations champions. Can you do it again this year?
I think definitely we can do this year again. We are playing good, so we are confident and we hope that we make the objective.
Were you surprised to see Finland come through in their last match? Have you done any homework on them?
No, not surprised. They play good. We watch it a bit, but yeah, we don't care about a lot of the opponent. We just play our game and see what happens.
Okay, they're going to play their game as we come over to talk to the guys from Finland. About 5 million people from Finland, over 210 million people from Brazil. It does make you the underdogs, but is that how you like it?
Yeah, we like to be underdogs all the time. No one expected us anything, but us, we believe.
We saw some massive celebrations from you guys when you beat Germany. I know that it was a huge moment for you. Just how big would those celebrations be if you were to beat the reigning champions, Brazil?
It depends on how we win. If we score 90 minutes, then it's big. But if we close out game early, then it's chill, because we want the crown.
They want the crown. Both teams want the crown. Only one of them could get it. And we're going to find out now who's going to have the home advantage in the second leg. Referee James, who's blue and who's purple?
Brazil is blue, Finland is purple.
Okay, please take it away. It is purple, which is Finland, which means Finland will kick off the second leg and have the home advantage for that game. You guys will be home for the first game. Please make your way to your booths now. There you go, you can go and get comfortable in your seats because it's a massive and final quarterfinal coming up here between the #1 ranked team in the world, Brazil, against the number 28th team in the world, Finland. We're going to hand you over to our casters for this one, Brandon and Alex.
Thank you very much, Ben. Yes, last quarter-final here of the FIFAe Nations Cup. I mean, look, there's a storyline to this one because who did Finland beat to get here? They beat Germany, who obviously have a world champion on their roster alongside so many fantastic players. I spoke to Finland before this one and they said, look, we fancy ourselves in this one, and why wouldn't they?
They also said to me, keep hyping me up, because I am absolutely loving Finland right now with the way that they are playing FIFA. It's something different. It's been a bit of a breath of fresh air, I would say. I know not everyone's a massive fan of their playstyle. Brazil, very different in what they have to offer as well. Either way, it's a matchup which I'm excited to look forward to, Brandon.
Yeah, well, Finland have certainly changed in terms of their roster. FIFA 19, when they played in this tournament, they were grouped last year. They didn't even qualify for the tournament. This time round, they've had a duo of brothers, the likes of Anzinho, coming into the team as well. On the other side, Brazil, the #1 ranked nation, the team that won this tournament last year. A couple of roster changes in there. Resende comes in from being a coach last year. Paulo Neto comes in for the likes of Crepaldi and Klinger. But that team as well, Alex, look, top of their group, 20 points they got. A win against Denmark on their way through. That's a massive result when you look at who they played against. Anders Vergain, they knocked out the Wonder Kids.
Yeah, they did indeed, and they've looked so confident in that ability that they have. And it's a different sort of challenge that they have here as we see the two teams getting ready. Purely because I'd say they are the favourites for everybody, quote unquote, and we know how good Finland have been. That's taking nothing away from them. So there is that little bit of added pressure, especially being the reigning champions as well. And they're going to be a team that wants to go and do it back-to-back for the first time in the history of this tournament. But standing in their way is a team that just haven't given up. They've fought until that last whistle. They've done what they need to do, and they've provided on the biggest stage.
Yeah, I spoke to Kossu before the game, and I said, how are you going to take the game to Brazil? His reply, Alex, was, they've got to take the game to us, which shows how confident he is. Kossu has featured in every single match. No surprise there. He's the most experienced Finnish player in this roster. As you just see, final preparations from all the teams. It's Resende and PH in. Keep in mind that they have unbelievable 2v2 experience, those two. Played obviously with Ajax outside of this tournament. Had a run last week in the E-Club World Cup. It was a crazy penalty shootout that knocked them out in the round of 16. And I loved on the interview with Richard and Fuma saying, look, if we could choose one team, let's get that rematch against Brazil, because he was absolutely right. They played last year in the quarter-final stages of the E-Nations Cup. That could be the semi-final here, but as we said, never count out this Finnish side.
I
think for every team as well that's remaining in this tournament, hearing Fuma for France say, give me Brazil, that's got to be a bit scary, no? That just says that this French team are very, very eager to play the best teams in the world. They want to go and win the trophy in style. Because some players would go, yeah, look, again, taking nothing away from Finland going into this tournament, if you could say you're going to play Finland in the semi-final as France, you take that in a heartbeat. Brazil, people go, oh, that'll be a bit more of a tougher matchup. But Fuma and France showing that they are eager to play against the best and take out the best.
Yeah, well, France already had one taste of South America. They want another bite at it tomorrow in a semi-final potentially. As we said, this is our last matchup here in day 2. Tomorrow, we come back to 4 nations that are remaining. As we said, Netherlands against Italy is already a confirmed semi-final matchup. Who will be taking on France? That is the question that will be answered as we load into this matchup. And already, a quick pause from Finland. One thing that we have to say, they've had a long time to wait for this game, Alex. What do you think they've been doing in the last 3 hours? Probably playing a lot of ping pong, because that's what seems to go on backstage. But no doubt, there would have been a bit of analysis coming into this game, because the Finnish side, they don't play FIFA maybe in your typical type of way. They like to try and mix things up a little bit.
Yeah, they'll be taking a look at Brazil and saying, you know, how can we try and find our way through? And almost just carry on doing what they're doing, because they've been doing it exceptionally well. A little bit of warm-up as we jump into the first leg.
Well, the leg one on the way here. Brazil, defending Nations Cup champion winners last year in Copenhagen. What a run it was for extra time with Italy. So extra time with Poland. A last-minute winner. It was to crown themselves champions. The most successful nation in football. Trying to be the most successful nation on the virtual pitch. They've already got one of these E-Nation Cups next to their name. Are they on to find another one? Finland. They've already broken history in their past outings in this tournament. I want to make this an outing to remember. I think there's a level of freedom for Finland as well. Less pressure on them. Playing against the defending champions. Here's Henry. Looking to kick things off from Brazil. Hullet. One more pass, finds Mbappe. Does time agree with the corner.
Huge block there from Martinez. Brazil moving the ball quickly, precisely.
Opt in. There's Milinkovic-Savic doing his role in the team, Alex. Just couldn't quite find the knockdown. Ball bouncing around still. Panic stations from Brazil.
Breather. Let's have a breather. As the ball's moving around. But going back to your original point, do Finland have a little bit more freedom to just go out there and play their FIFA? Yes, to an extent, as they need to relax and ease into this game. But also, when you've come this far, it doesn't really matter in that sense. You're here. Looking back on it in a month's time, you'll be so proud of where you've got to already, regardless of this result. But right now, it's about them going out, playing their game, doing what they've been doing throughout this tournament so far, and just backing each other up. Chance for Mbappe. It is going to be a corner for the Finnish side. Keep an eye for the movement in the box from Petr Cech from Varane. It is going to be whipped in, Petr Cech. Keeper comes out to claim.
First real chance that Finland have had in this game. Two brothers currently teaming up here. It's a special team they've got, Jerkos and Kosu. You rarely see that. Other than France, the Peixoto brothers are in the semi-final. Brazil punch the ball into Lloris's feet. Kindly falls back to Edwin van der Sar. Finland, a couple of times now, just carelessly giving away possession. Henry could be through. Another day there is potentially a flick on to the feet of Ousmane Dembele.
The way Finland have started this game, starting to notice a few little nerves creeping through, a few loose passes, rushed chances as well in that middle of the park. And when you're playing against the champions of Brazil, you need to ensure that you're limiting the turnover of the ball, ensure that you're working up into that final third. You can't afford to give it away in your own half on that halfway line to your opposition of Brazil. Just be precise, be accurate, and trust each other.
What's that, Rob? Doesn't need anyone. Ousmane Dembélé driving on his own, the Frenchman. A number of options in the box there, just couldn't find the ideal cross along the box. Keep in mind there is a draft format that was followed in this FIFAe Nations Cup, hence why you can see the same sort of three key players in most of these teams, that be R9, Pelé. Well, most of the teams, Brazil's three key players, R9, Kylian Mbappe and Ruud Gullit. Some of their other interested drafted players in that team. They've got 8 picks, include the likes of that Milinkovic-Savic, but I know you're a massive fan of Alex. Ousmane Dembélé, Neymar Jr. Here's Finland, whipping it deep towards the back post. Nearly stitched the goalkeeper up, but was able to get a hand on it. On the other side of Finland, their draft looks a little bit different.
Yeah, Finland's 3 main players, Pelé, Mbappe and Gullit. And then in your open selections of your 8, Neymar, Martial, and obviously the man which has scored them goal after goal after goal. The only player out there with a helmet on his head, Petr Cech.
Yeah, unconventionally sits on this left-hand side of the pitch, and it's a big chance. Oh no! Makes it look so easy to Brazil! And we said about small mistakes of Finland. Where was the defenders?
I'd love to get a replay on that to see where that defensive line went. We saw Martinez step up and that left centre-back position. I don't know if there was an offside trap in there or if it was just one player moving that centre-back up and being aggressive. Brazil, though, they take that through ball, they take that opportunity, they beat the offside, say thank you very much. Let's take that 1-0 lead.
This is where it could get slightly ugly. Just pickpocketed the little gap between the two defenders now. I think it was Martinez and Ashley Cole on the left-hand side of the pitch for Finland. And you got Ronaldo Nazario and Mbappe, 2 players that aren't lacking pace. Looking for more.
Solid defending there from Varane.
Brave to play in these areas.
It's actually an interesting battle between both of these teams with the 4 at the back that they're using. Very happy to send one of their fullbacks on that overlap and put them into that high position. We see it all the time with the 5 at the back, allowing you to send both wing-backs up. The 4 at the back, most players and teams just tend to have one of their fullbacks on that overlapping run. It's not very often in 2v2 where we see 4 at the back versus 4 at the back.
Some would argue it's quite refreshing in this day and age. Half-time forces at the break. I mean, Brazil on top. But Finland, just a couple of times there, questionable decisions at the back. You see them panicking, a couple of stray passes. And where was the defending on this goal?
Well, we're going to take a look at it and figure that out for you, Brandon. Ball out on that right wing time. Just the simple facts, right centre-back, left centre-back had a different idea to that left-back of Ashley Cole, who he just wasn't there. He was not in the position. He dropped deeper, the 2 centre-backs were higher, which then meant you're playing all of those attackers on side. It's a vital error in a massive game.
Actually, against the Brazilian side that are happy to see out a 1-0 win. They did it against Denmark. Across the 2 legs. You missed that one in the round of 16. Anders Vergan being knocked out of the tournament, and also Marcuso. Jump back into this one. Gameplay has kicked off for the 2nd leg.
I was quite surprised to see Ashley Cole at left back as well there. A lot of players have been using Kamenvinga, Zaha in their fullback positions, Klosterman. We've even seen Henry at one point as well. Speaking
of Zaha, shapeshifter item able to pick up the ball in those sort of areas. Has been offering so much on the overlap. Isolated is R9, but he wins a corner.
Yeah, and here it's all about trying to find that setup for Savic at the back post. Chance to break though for Finland.
Watch the massive switch of play, where Mbappe has a 1v1 against Camavinga. Can he bring in more players into this attack, Finland? Little dink into the box, defended well by Zaha, who was up against Hullet.
They're a type of ball that we've seen from Finland, where they're looking for that lob pass, very central. Hullet there, trying to get on the end of it to then look for that knockdown to the Russian man. Brazil, though, equal to it. Happy to see that one through. Looking to build up on another attack.
Watch out that back post. Ousmane Dembele finds the path. There's the player lock, switch back inside. There's Mbappe. Is it going to work out well? Yes, it may do. Ousmane Dembele still moving and grooving in the box. Goes down to ground. Referee waves that one away. Says, get back up on your feet.
A huge challenge from Lloris, and Brazil starting to feel themselves in this attacking area. The player lock coming through. You don't see it as often in 2v2, but it can really catch the opponent out. They're so aware of that player that's not on the ball that your teammate is controlling. To bring that player lock in, it just says, look, I'm going to leave that AI to control that ball. I'm going to manipulate and move that attacking player into the position of where I want. Can be quite confusing as well in 2v2.
Are we looking at a sub here, Alex? I think we are. There's a sub on screen, in-game now for Finland. I like this, it's a brave call, but there's no reason why he can't compete. Anzinho, who was part of that YMCA team last week in the E-Club World Cup, he also featured in the knockout stages already. Yeah,
he started a game in the knockout stages, so this is a partnership that we're used to seeing as well throughout this tournament. This isn't something that's completely fresh to the Finnish team. Being proactive in their decision making, not wanting to hesitate ever so slightly, just make the call, back the decision. Still at 1-0, plenty of FIFA to be played, a second leg to come as well. See if they can put some more pressure on this Brazilian side. Right now, they're having those conversations, they look relatively comfortable.
And what do you think that substitution does in game? As much as we love it to mimic real life football, I love the change regardless. It could bring in just a fresh set of ideas.
It's also that, and when you've played 60 minutes against the same duo, you start to get a feel for how they're attacking and how they want to move. Anzinho, he may come in and he may offer a different outlet. He may have more ability on the ball. He might say, no, I want to look for first time over the tops. Every FIFA player provides different outlets and different strengths on that pitch.
Brazil with a corner. To add on to that point, Costa was saying that, you know, there could be a chance that Brazil may try and sort of man-mark me out the game. See if they can stop his teammate. Finland still very much in this time.
Careful this long throw in here. Savic making that run into the box.
Into the box there. The yellow circle goes deep. He wins it in the air. That's what he can do. Klosterman could get dispossessed. Finland happy to play in these areas. They do very well under pressure.
PH in and Asende's press is so difficult to play out. You think there's chances for you maybe to go and look to hit on that counter. They cover out that middle ball. They force you out to the wings or back to the goalkeeper. And it just means the whole of the Brazil team can then move back, get into position and be ready to defend as a unit.
James. Interesting to see him in the team. There's been a handful of interesting picks in this Finland side. Maybe that's why they've gone against the grain. From Martinez to Ashley Cole, Ronaldinho, Trivella. Wasn't green, but still asked a question of Thibaut Courtois. Paul Pogba has got the legs, in fact, fresh off the bench in that change. Watch R9's run now. Is there a cutback available? No, there isn't. There's a Trivella green off the woodwork. And Brazil so close to doubling their lead. Camavinga now. As numbers start to build up in the box. Nice pass, finds Henry. Mbappe tries to find some sort of skill move, works out well. Step overs! Oh! He's timed it green! How's that not gone in? How on earth? You see PH in, if you can catch it on camera, his reaction, sort of like a grimace of what could have been. That goal there, Alex, could have been sensational.
I hope they don't get me to analyse that one and say, why did that shot not go in? Because I don't know. I couldn't tell you the answer. You think that is going to be the net rippling? Brazil, comfortable, 2-0 up. But no, shot goes wide. The original skill move, I don't think meant for that to happen. However, they regrouped. Then fancy footwork, the step over is the fake to just carry on driving on the same angle that they originally had. Brilliant footwork. Finland not able to answer to that particular passage of play. And Brazil, Finland had the first chance just then. They come back down the other end and they look to pile on that pressure. But right now for Finland, it's still only 1-0 with plenty of action remaining.
I'm sure you saw who just came on there. Wow, Weghorst. Keep an eye on him in the box when the ball goes in the air. He caused storylines last year in Copenhagen. No surprise. Through the help of a promo or two, he features back in Finland's team here.
It's so fascinating because there is not another single team that has picked Weghorst on their bench. No one else. It tells you their game plan. We spoke about it on the couch on why they have that player on the bench. We'll see if it can come up clutch for them in this massive game.
Bounce back, Pogba! It's a golden chance that this time Brazil will not be missing. 2 goals to nil, the current FIFAe Nations Cup holders lead.
I'm sure we'll see that back again. I think Pogba actually red timed that, but it didn't matter because they banked on the goalkeeper moving him to the other side. So yes, the shot wasn't as powerful, it wasn't as strong. But when the goalkeeper's on the other side of the net, he's not going to be able to recoup and get back there. A huge goal for Brazil to put themselves in a commanding position with that second leg to go. We have to give credit to Brazil in the way they've defended out on the wing as well. They've been super aggressive on the cross, just stopping it in the tracks and not really allowing Finland to get the ball into the box. That's the area where they've succeeded so many times. Brazil have just matched it every single time.
Oh, you're absolutely right. You can't really sit there and recall a header that they've had on target or a big moment from a cross. Haven't allowed Finland to play maybe their typical way. Klosterman on the overlap, and Brazil about to find a third. Maybe they are! Omri off target! There wasn't even a save there! Finland lucky not to be 4-0 down?
100%. The chances that Brazil have had here, they're just the 1 in 100. They're the 1 in 100 that miss. 99 times, they find the back of the net in those scenarios. Henry, left foot, dragging it wide. And Finland will be glad to possibly go in at full time at just 2-0.
Well, that may not do us just yet. Brazil will get a throw-in.
And it's going to be a long throw-in, Brandon.
Where is he on the pitch? No, wrong player. And that will do us. At the halfway point, Brazil lead Finland 2-0. Keep in mind, please keep in mind that Germany were 2-0 up against Finland in the round of 16. Finland came back to win that game 3-2. But Brazil, I think you're right, Alex, to come out of that pretty happy. They stopped the threat from the crosses, you rightly said, they matched it up. But more importantly, they created chances. A time green finish was off target, and Omri couldn't hit the target near the end. It could have been 3 or 4-0 on a different day.
And they're going to be asking each other, saying, well, how are we not 4-0 up? And how they're not, I really, really don't know as we go through and jump into the chances that they had. This is Pogba with that drive, the ball roll, green time, Travella hitting the woodwork, and then this again. All right, that skill move maybe not meant, but still rectified it. Lovely step over, the green time, and just again, goal not happening just there, but they didn't matter. The step up from Varane, Pogba, red time through, keeper movement, 2-0, and then one more chance for Brazil to put themselves into a commanding position. Henry just dragging it wide. There's 3 chances there. It makes it 4-5-0 on another day.
I'll be honest, I forgot about the first time Green that hit the bar as well.
Yeah.
It could have definitely been 4 or 5-0. Finland, I've got to think, look, yes, we've lost that game 2-0. We didn't create much because we weren't really allowed to create much from Brazil. How do they feel going into this one?
I mean, they'll be glad to say, yeah, it is only 2-0, and they've got 90 minutes to try and rectify that, and they can claw back on that experience against Germany and say, look, we were 2-0 down against them, we pulled that back 3-2, and we advanced through into the stage that we're at now. So that gives them confidence. I think what we're seeing very differently here, though, from Brazil, is they're not allowing Finland to play the game and the game plan that they've come in with. It has been, like, can we look for those through balls? Can we look for those crosses? Can we try and utilise the power and strength of the attackers that they have? They simply haven't been able to play FIFA the way that they want to because Brazil have been aggressive out in that wing position and made it super difficult.
Is there a stage when they go 3-0 up and Palameta gets an involvement?
I would like to think so.
Well, it's very smiley at the moment in that camp of Brazil. Have to talk about it again. That skill move that wasn't meant and it never came off. Could have been the best dummy of a skill move. It sent 2 players the wrong way. Opened up a fantastic pocket of space.
I could be wrong. Maybe they did mean that skill move. Maybe they meant it the other way, to go into the box. It's not something we've seen since the FIFA 19 days as a prominent skill move.
Well, looks as if Kosu's just coming back. You can just see him on the corner of your screen there. Quick drink break before coming in to this second leg. Jerkos back in the hot seat alongside his brother. Anzinho did feature from the 60th minute onwards in the first leg. And a couple of last words on board from the coach. As we said, keep in mind they came back against Germany, who were 2-0 up against them in a situation like this. But have they met their match this time from a Brazilian team that just loves to create and create and create?
I haven't seen enough of Finland over 90 minutes throughout this tournament. I haven't seen every single game. So take this with a pinch of salt. I think when you have a game plan, which we've seen, of them going for those crosses and looking for those through balls, at times I've said, have they got the ability in that final third, but if the ball's at your feet, can you step over? Can you look for those reverse Lascos? Have you got that extra sauce to get past your opponent? And that's something that I think they may need to try and find. If you can get to the wing and they're cutting out that cross, okay, let's go back. Let's try and play in between the lines of the defence and the midfield, and let's trust ourselves to take on the defender. Try and get past them in that one-on-one scenario. Try and isolate where you can. Now, again, I say that because maybe they have scored goals after goals or had opportunities like that throughout this tournament that I haven't seen. But right now, Finland do need to come up with something new, something different to get past this Brazilian side. And if there is one player that's going to do that, it's the third player along, Kosu, with a hat on. The hype that he brings for that team, if they get one goal here, anything's possible.
So if you're a team that is so used to playing down the flanks and looking for those crosses into the box, what is your plan B? Play down the centre?
Play down the centre, but it's not as simple as that. There's no taking away from the ability that they have on the ball, of course. But when you have been so used to working, coming in with a different game plan, which no other team in this tournament has come in with. Whether it is along the ground, whether it is in the air, those first time over the top through balls, the ability to work the byline. A lot of other FIFA teams that we've seen, a lot of nations here, they can be similar, repetitive. Finland have been different in that category. So now it is saying, okay, well, do we go to the quote-unquote meta sort of stuff that we see from sides, working the byline, look for the step-overs, for your Travellas, your finesses from range.
Well then, time to load back into this one, as we said. 45 minutes, 90 minutes away from finding out who will be joining France in tomorrow's semi-final, Final Four. Will play out alongside guaranteeing himself $75,000. Keep in mind, the first time the FIFAe Nations Cup has had a $1 million prize pool. Back on the way, Finland, with it all to do. I mean, I wouldn't put it past them.
Dance already for the Finnish team out on that right-hand side. Ronaldinho, step over. Better. Some more intent.
Brazil's all the power in this game, really, haven't they? Score again. You force a serious change out of Finland. Zaha. Mbappe. Are Brazil about to find a third? To really make their mark on the tie, a little bit too much there. Step over so reliable. When you get down the byline, you're always playing a risk, aren't you?
You are, and I think when we compare the two teams that we have, we've seen that from Brazil time and time again in that first leg. Just their confidence to drive, to take the player on, whether it be a step over, elastico, La croqueta, heel to ball roll, whatever it is, they're confident. Finland need to try and take a leaf out of that book to drive and take the players on.
That was bad to say there. Lays into it for Dembele. Big save again needed from Finland. They are hanging in the ropes of this matchup. Whipped in. Hullet's there in the air! Time green this time! 3-0. Brazil leads. Now it's become such a big ask of Finland, Alex.
It's a brilliant header, a fantastic leap from Ruud Hullet. Just on the edge of that 6-yard box, the ball in was delivered to perfection. We have to wonder, there's no goalkeeper movement there. Normally the goalkeepers are put onto that 6-yard box to stop that cross from being so easy for the opponent. Maybe they're expecting the ball to go into Savic instead, and that's where Brazil said, hey, look, we're going to use our 6'8" player as bait, and we're going to look to go into another man who's just as good in the air, Ruud Hullet.
Oh, this can get out of hand now. Brazil, Henry driving in a goal, ball roll, Trivela, thank you very much. PH in, the big vamos. Because he knows he's in another championship final day.
That's a tough one to take for Finland. They were super aggressive out on that wing, on that press onto Henry, trying to get there, trying to stop him from driving the byline. Instead, Brazil say, hey, look, if you give us the inside, we're going to go inside. That means I can get that shot off. Henry, yes, it goes off the woodwork. It was red timed. In those sort of areas, you'd be thinking that one should go past the post. But Finland found themselves in that first leg. They should have been 4-5-0 down. Now their luck seems to have run out.
And if we're being honest, they just haven't been able to play, have they? Finland, they've not been able to create. Brazil haven't let them. And what also Brazil have done, they've been superb in the final third. Creating chance after chance, clinical with the timing of the finishes when they've needed to. And you can't argue that finally their chances are starting to play out as expected after a dominant first leg. Finland now have a chance to play for pride or the most ridiculous FIFA comeback I think I'll ever see! Well, that's the first step in the right direction.
You asked, how do Finland create chances if the crosses are being caught out? And it's being in that middle. It's having the confidence to trust yourself to drive into the box, take the defender on. The defender was there. You think the block may come through? No, Mbappe, green time, across the face of goal. And it gives Finland just that little bit of hope.
You said, Alex, Kosu gets a goal. Watch what happens, he was the one that scored. A leader for Finland. He's loved every single moment of this FIFAe Nations. Keep an eye on that run that's been made. Heavy touch from Militao, recovers well.
The idea and the intent was right there from Finland, trying to send that one over the top. Mbappe just not got enough power, not taking it up and over with a lofted pass. Brazil comfortable enough in that defensive area. Now it's about, look, we've got a 4-1 lead. We're still relatively comfortable in this situation. Let's work our chances as and where we can. take some time off the clock, keep that press up, and don't let Finland play out. Don't make it easy for them.
Finland have maybe a tiny bit of hope. They score again. And things will certainly start to get interesting. Saw Petr Cech there with the step overs. He looked for the exit, but just couldn't quite find the angle he wanted. Brazil score again. It's the best thing that they can do just to get fully back in the driving seat. I know it sounds crazy to say, the 3-goal lead.
Great defending from Brazil there. Noticing that Petr Cech had that chance to stand up the defender, stand up that centre-back, and try and take them on, similar to the first goal that we saw Finland score today. Instead, they were aggressive. They got that player switch right. They step up and say, if you go for these step overs, I'm going to get to you before the animation even starts.
Lloris, back to Ronaldinho, little cheeky chip in the box, Finland, oh that's clever, back to Mbappe, doesn't fall kindly for a second. I thought that was about to be a moment of magic. Lloris pickpocketed, recovers well. Last chance potentially of the half. Waiting for the final attack. Risky, very risky there. Gets fortunately goes through the legs of Ousmane Dembele.
Chance to break.
A very high line from Finland. They've got runners, Brazil. Do they even need to? Look for one more attack. Big switch of play, finds Zaha. Is there a flick on available? Yes, there is. In a dangerous area. Milinkovic Savic comes short, forget the long throw this time. Added time of 1 minute, it's not going to happen unfortunately. Half time. There was moments there, Alex, last sort of 5-10 minutes there, the goal suddenly just gave Finland this extra ounce of confidence. They get another goal with that Mbappe volley. They're going to half time feeling so different.
Yeah, and if they've got a chance to get back into this, they need to take the chances that they have. If you did miss it, this is the 3rd goal in this matchup for Brazil, taking themselves to that 3-0 lead. Hullet on the header, and then again, you see Henry come across. Varane, he's super aggressive, commits too heavily on the byline, the ball roll on the inside, and a fantastic finish from Henry off the woodwork. But then, Finland, they said, no, we're not going to go down with that fight. The step over, the drive, the confidence that I spoke about that you need to have in those areas. A lovely, lovely goal. Second half underway. Finland have got it all to do if they wish to book themselves a ticket in the final 4 here at the FIFAe Nations.
Yeah, I like that from Brazil. You just saw a half-time, the sun come on. It's Klosterman for Zaha. Just sort of patching over that full-back area, making sure we've got fresh legs there to stop any danger. Mbappe goes for a goal kick in the end. Just to risk any of those potential crosses on the left-hand side, especially when you've got Petr Cech out there.
Yeah, I think that's a wise decision from the Brazilian team. And I think this is a matchup right now where we're seeing, yes, Brazil are looking so comfortable with the scoreline that they have, but they're still putting pressure on Finland. They're happy to tag team in that pressing department and make it so hard for them to play out.
Game over. Ooh. Nearly.
Nearly, indeed. Because there's a time where if you kind of go, right, we've got that lead, let's kind of sit back and let's not be too aggressive. Let's make sure we keep our defensive line in midfield where it is. Look at that. Savic just coming up, being aggressive, trying to force them backwards. Yes, they beat the press there, but I really like what I'm seeing from Pierre-Etienne and Rosende.
The storyline we've been building for Brazil is that this time last year they actually played France in the quarter-final stage in Copenhagen. This time on, they'll match them in the semi-finals. What's different this time here, you ask? Well, there's a lot more money on the line for first. But secondly, We've got a French side that are desperate for revenge, and off the back of a big win against Argentina. They've already had a taste of taking out one South American nation. They'll be looking to do another one. Getting away with this, aren't they, Alex, a few times now?
They are. Finland aren't allowed to play easy FIFA. Brazil's intensity throughout this match has been nothing short of excellent.
Just picking their moments on the press, aren't they? There's another great example. Win the ball back. Still ask questions of Finland. Poor pass. But again, a good press. Possession back in the hands. 25 minutes away. Oh, Brazil, well recovered. When's it time to go for it now? Surely now.
It is surely now. The substitution, I just want to say, will come through next time the ball goes out.
Slightly heard me.
Tactical changes coming through from both sides. And for Finland, it has got to be time to throw everything at Brazil. Commit numbers forward, be aggressive, play that high line, and just hope that you can catch them on that press, maybe grab a goal or two. For Brazil, it's about, look, we know the press is going to come. We know the numbers are going to be there in the attack. Let's look for those balls into the channels. Let's play to the wing. Dink it over the midfield if you need to. Just beat that initial press and they will be plain sailing towards the final whistle.
Well, it's another change you see there again. Anzinho coming in for the remaining of this game. As it's time to throw everything forward. 3 goals needed. 3 perfect attacks, 3 potential errors from Brazil, which just feels so hard to even question that of a nation that's already shown so much, especially with no time left. 23 minutes.
The easy thing you could do here is say Finland haven't done enough. They've not found their crosses, they've not found the angles, they've not found the positions that they want to be in. You could say that. I'd swing it the other way and say Brazil have made it so difficult for them to play the game that they want. They've stopped the crosses. They've been forced into looking for lob passes centrally for that knockdown. It's been a game plan from Brazil that has been executed to perfection.
What they've also had as well, Alex, is they've had about 3 hours to talk about Post Petchek. Where is... He's offside. Regardless, I can understand why he was a goalkeeper then for a second. But back to the point, they've had about 3 hours, Alex, to really prepare for this game. As they waited for the first 3 quarterfinals to conclude. Brazil looking for one more, just to put final nail in the coffin.
Yeah, you have to keep your eye out now when Brazil win that ball in their defence. The blue shirt's going to come flying forward. Exactly what they need to do, play that ball over the top, get into the wing. And now you've got the freedom. You've got numbers in the attack. Can you put that game and the nail in the coffin? And the answer is no, not just.
Well, as this game starts to come to an end, Alex, 4 nations remain in the Nations Cup. Who's impressed you the most today? We go through the list. The Netherlands gave us penalty drama in the round of 60, but then a really convincing second leg in their quarter-final. Big 5-0 win. Here's a chance for Finland. Defended well by Brazil. On the other side for Italy. Again, 1-0 down, come back flying against Saudi Arabia. You continue that storyline. France went 2-0 up. They forced Nicholas, 99, to get subbed out of the team. Had questions asked of them, still came out on top. And then you see this Brazilian side. They already know they've won this tournament last year. Could argue they've got the most pressure on them coming into this as the #1 ranked nation. Who has impressed you the most?
It's a tough one. I think France have shown so much class and outlet that they have in the attack and the defence. We know there's a game plan there for that team and how they want to play and what they want to do. with the 3 fantastic players that they have in that roster. Taking down Argentina is no joke. You take down Argentina, for me, one of the favourites for this tournament. That certainly sends out a message to all of your opponents as nearly. But then Italy have looked mature.
I'd agree. I think Italy are the team for me.
They've looked professional. They've done what they need to do. And I think as well, we mentioned it, how Danny Pitbull, they scored a goal. He wasn't happy. He wanted to have that talk with a teammate to say, we need to do this better, we need to do that better. And that shows the willingness for them to try and retain, or try and get this trophy, I should say.
Pogba tries to find R9. Added time to follow, but let's just give Finland their moment of time as well, Alex. What a tournament for a nation that, I think coming into this, not many expected a run like this, but they have given us much more than that. Taking out Germany in the round of 16, given Brazil a tough matchup, especially in that first half of the first leg, but the Brazilians pull away at the end. They are in the top 4 of the FIFAe Nations Cup, a different side this time round, but a side that still have the same vision, the same goal in mind.
Yeah, congratulations to Brazil. They're advancing through into the semi-finals. Commiserations to Finland. For Finland, right now, this is going to hurt. They're going to be upset with that performance. They definitely found their match, but I also think as well, 2 to 3 weeks' time, they'll look back on this and they can be very, very proud with how they have performed throughout the whole of this tournament. They gave us something different, something to be excited about, but unfortunately, their story does end here.
And what a moment they're going to look back on. Not today, not in a few days, but in a couple of weeks. That Germany game.